Yawasa by-election as they vow to deploy a series of actions until justice is delivered.
It is our hope that by next Tuesday, we'll get some concrete steps seen and action from the police. Failure, we may be back here to continue the demand for justice for not only Sam John, but all our police.
We'll tell you what happened when the minority marched to the police headquarters today to meet the IGP after boycotting the swearing in of the newly elected MP for Yawasa West Wuogon constituency.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Bond Savings and Loans. Your success, our passion, Gasem, the nation builder, Vodafone. The future is exciting, ready, a nationwide medical health insurance, your healthcare family. It has been 5 days since marksmen from National Security rained terror on the Yawasa West Wuogon by-election. There have been no arrest nor an update on investigations. The NDC minority members in Parliament, however, are tonight taking matters into their own hands. They have given the police 2 weeks to arrest the marksmen or risk facing up to a series of actions, including street protests. The minority MPs, numbering about 70, marched from Parliament to the police headquarters and demanded to meet with the IGP. They also boycotted the swearing-in of the newly elected MP for Yawasa West Wuogon constituency. My colleague Joseph Gakpo, in fact, marched with them all the way and joins me in the studio right now. Joseph, in Parliament today, it was billed as one of those days when a new member of Parliament joins, but the minority guys were determined to make a spectacle of it.
Yeah, exactly. So the first deputy speaker who was in the seat invited Madam Lydia Sarah Malhassan to get into the chamber after he had read the notice from the Electoral Commission that she'd been duly elected as Member of Parliament for the Yawasa West Wuogon constituency. And so as soon as she was being invited in, Muntaka Mubarak rose on his feet and indicated that for those on the minority side, they think, looking at the events that unfolded, the blood that was spilled on the day that the election was held to elect her as Member of Parliament, they wouldn't want to be part of the ceremony that will usher her in as a parliamentarian.
West Wuogon by-election, unfortunately, and in commemoration to support our comrades and citizens that were unnecessarily hurt and brutally assaulted, I'm sorry to say that we don't indulge that our side of the house cannot be here to witness this way.
So, Joseph, they did not only boycott the sitting as a result of this, but they also then decided to march, to walk.
And in fact, they came to the house, almost all of them dressed in black attire.
I see.
Indicating that they are mourning.
They had placards?
Yes. They had sheets of papers with various inscriptions on it. And the popular one was Bloody Widow, as it was written. And so when Muntaka Mubarak indicated that they don't want to be part of the process, they are walking out. They walked out, and a number of them pulled out the white sheets with the huge inscription on it, Bloody Widow, in reference to Madam Lydia Al-Hassan. And so they left the house. You understand, soon after that, they met as a caucus in the Job 600 building just to finalize the plans for their protest. And then they left off and marched from Parliament through the frontier of the Ghana Institute of Journalism and then to the police headquarters on two notices indicating that, first of all, Samuel George, the Ningo Prampram MP, had received an invitation to come write a statement at the police CID headquarters in connection with how Kami was assaulted. So they were marching with him and solidarizing with him. And then they had a petition of their own to the IGP that he deals with the insecurity challenges that's confronting the country, which was the second thing. So
do we know if they had a police permit to do this? or not police permit, whether they had informed the police.
From what I gather, they actually hadn't. So
this was a case springing a surprise on the police.
So this was a case of them mobilizing, and some of them, in Parliament itself, there are security folks in Parliament who escorted them even as they left off and indicated they headed to the police headquarters and helped direct the traffic and stop vehicles in order for them to pass. So they marched on all the way, got to the front yard of the police CID headquarters. Just within less than a minute, the security team there had allowed them into the premises, and then they got in, and then they broke into two different teams. So once within the premises, Muntaka Mubarak addressed them and indicated that Samuel George had been invited, and so himself and 5 other members of Parliament, including 3 lawyers, James Agalga, Inusa Fuseni, and a 3rd lawyer, were climbing up to go meet the CID official so he can give his statement. And then the rest of the team waited until the indication came that their meeting that they'd wanted to meet with the IGP to present their petition, the IGP wasn't around, but the police director of operations was ready to meet them. So Muntaka Mubarak, the deputy minority leader, James Aveji, and 4 other members of Parliament also went into a separate meeting with the Director General of Police Operations, which also lasted for about an hour.
And they came out to tell us that apparently they're giving the police an ultimatum. Listen to the minority chief whip speaking about this.
We reiterated to them the security situation, our concern that 5 days down the line, nobody has been arrested and all that. And he stated that they met the Committee on Defense and Interior, and they made virtual same demands of them. And they are assuring us that they will not treat this like all the others. They will give it all the seriousness that it deserves, and they are assuring us that it will also be swift. And they reassure us that they will do the very best that they can.
What timeline are you giving them based on which you can expect further action from you?
Well, we have given ourselves that next week Tuesday, if we don't hear any other thing, concrete steps being taken, obviously we'll go back there.
Okay, so it's 7 days. And what will concrete steps look like? What will they do for you to be assured that the police are really acting on you?
Well, at least we need to see them arresting, making some arrests. We need to see them taking action because the video footage are there, who authorized their vehicles to be used for marks people, their arms. A lot of the youth there now, videos are coming and showing their background, who really recruited them, what steps are they taking to screen all these guys and take all the bad nut off their system. We want to see all these concrete things happening.
More protests, maybe a bigger demonstration.
Well, we are aware that the 3 political parties, NDC and the other affiliates, are organizing a massive demonstration on Thursday. Obviously, they have our support. We are lawmakers. We will also continue to do what we can within the confines of Parliament and parliamentary proceedings to see what actions we can further do to ensure that this thing we don't just wash this thing away.
So there's a demonstration this Thursday, and I've seen that there's a press conference that was held, I think, last week to announce this, led by PNC and the other smaller parties holding a demonstration on Thursday to put further pressure on the police to look and investigate this matter. Sam George, who we know, has seen in videos, had been assaulted, today got an opportunity to file a police statement. And I get a sense that, from what was said, that he didn't get the same reception when he attempted to file a police report in another police station.
Yes,
and that is why he was accompanied today by his colleagues from Parliament.
Yes, at the Legon police station, the indication is that when he went there to complain, he was just given a police form, a medical form, and asked to go to the hospital. But then they didn't take a statement. But today that opportunity was provided, although from what we gather, he eventually took the statement and said he will fill it and let the police have it back.
I was invited by the CID. I went with my colleagues and the legal team from the minority. We engaged with the police, and we will be continuing to support the police in their investigation. Hopefully we see some concrete action taken very soon. Failure of which, next week Tuesday, we'll be back here. On Saturday, I went to the Legon police station. They refused to take my statement. That has been resolved. The police has apologized for that, and it's been resolved today. All the necessary processes are in motion. And so, for me, I want to give as much support as possible to the Ghana Police Service. However, when it comes to picking up the perpetrators, that's up to the police service. I still want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And like I said, we'll keep watching this space. We are cooperating with the police.
Just to be sure, that's far. Are you satisfied with how the police have responded, at least on your visit today? following the invitation he extended to you, are you cool with how things have unfolded as well?
We're cooperating with the police.
Did you have names for them in terms of those who assaulted you?
I think that the police is investigating, and whatever information I have for the police is with the police.
So, Joseph, we're also learning today, in fact, confirmed by one of his lawyers, Sam George's lawyers, that Sam George has now identified one of these security officers who assaulted him.
Yes, and he's going to present the name officially to the police. In fact, we gather that he mentioned the name in the meeting with the police CID officials earlier today. Inusaf Husseini, who is the minority spokesperson on legal and constitutional affairs.
We told them that we're responding to their invitation extended to Sam George to appear before them to assist in the investigation of the complaint that he had lodged at the Legon police station. Indeed, we were subsequently joined by the Legon police. They confirmed that Sam George had made a complaint there. They wanted to take his statement at the CID headquarters. We demanded for the statement form so that he will write out the statement in the comfort of his office.
Okay.
Present same.
Okay. So he has it, which he will write and present subsequently.
Yeah, he has it now.
Did they give you any indication of leads that they've made thus far with
We will give them leads. We have pictures of the people who did the violence. We have videos. In fact, Sam George has even identified the person who slapped him. And so we'll make all
by
that
name, and probably by
name, by
the unit he works with.
He has no unit. He's just a lawless Morondin beast unleashed on us to visit harm. It's lawless. It's not a unit. So there's no such unit within. In fact, when you mention a unit, it makes me feel nauseating. There's no such unit within the police service.
Okay, so Sam George has identified him. Has he given them the names, the name of the individual yet?
Yeah, he's mentioned the name, but he will capture it in the report.
Okay, and your expectation is that once he goes ahead and provides the full details to the police, then they will do what exactly?
Well, they will investigate, and then if it is established, arrest and prosecute him.
Okay, and you're also raising issues that it's been 5 days and no one has been arrested. Don't investigations take time? Aren't you ready to give them the benefits of the doubt?
When people in law, we say in flagrante delicto. When crime is committed in such broad daylight, then you think that it should take more than 5 days to identify the victims? When they were driven in police cars, you think that it should take more than 5 days? When the national security minister has come out to say that those people were under his command, it should take more than 5 days? No.
I've just been joined on a telephone line by the Deputy Majority Whip, Matthew Nyendam, joins us on the telephone line right now shortly. But in Parliament today, in the wake of everything that has happened with the boycotting and the march, we heard from the Deputy Speaker of the House, Jose Owusu, who condemned the minority's decision to walk out of the swearing in of the newly elected colleague.
Against security breaches or infractions or concerns. But why they chose the time of swearing in of a new member to express their problem with the security, for me, leaves much to be desired. We should be very careful the kinds of precedent we are setting. We are all creating paths and precedents which people may refer to. The kind of precedent we set at any point in time will be referred to someday. And I suggest that we in this House make a great effort to create a tradition that will make us be respected when we are no longer here. Thank you, honourable members. I'll proceed to...
So that is the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Jose Owusu there. We can now speak to the Minority Spokesperson on Defence and Interior and the former Deputy Interior Minister, James Agog. He's also one of the lawyers for Sam George, joins us on the line right now. Thank you, Mr. Agog, for your time here on Top Story. So what did you really achieve today?
Well, Evans, thank you and good evening to your listeners. Today, first of all, we boycotted the swearing in of Madam Seram, because we are firmly of the view that her victory clearly was a stolen one. I mean, her hands are tainted with the blood of the innocent Ghanaians who sustained gunshot wounds at that election. And we believe it was as a result of the massive intimidation that catapulted her to power. And so we thought that it would have been unfortunate if we sat in the chamber to glorify her at a swearing-in ceremony. But in addition to that...
But let's stay with that first bit. I saw some of your posters you were wielding. One of them read Bloody Widow. Isn't that a bit below the belt?
No, Evans, why is that below the belt? Why did the Minister of State in charge of national security, Brian Achampong, unleash those goons to attack innocent and armed Ghanaians whose only crime was that they went out there to cast their franchise? What was their offense? They did that all in an attempt to show up the chances of Madame Seram to emerge victorious in that election. And so the blood that was spilled of those innocent Ghanaians, we would say, is on the hands of Madame Seram. And so it was very appropriate to describe her in those terms. I don't see anything wrong with those inscriptions you saw on our placard.
But must you use her status as a widow in this political football?
But Evans, I am firmly of the belief that the lady in question is not even a widow. We definitely were mistaken when we even described her as is she a widow? Because my understanding is that our late beloved colleague, the Honorable Ejiako, was not legally married to her, but to another woman who appeared on all the funeral obituary notices. So to suggest that her status is that of a widow is not accurate. It's not right.
But you chose to use that description,
yeah,
calling
so
her a widow yourself.
I would restrict myself to the fact that she's a person whose hands are tainted with the blood of the innocent Ghanaians that was spilled on the day of the election.
The swearing-in went on in your absence. You went to the police headquarters and marched. I wonder if you notified the police as stipulated by the Public Order Act.
No, Evans, we were not required in those circumstances to notify the police before marching to the police headquarters. Remember that the police themselves invited our colleague, the Honorable Sam George, to attend upon them, to assist them in carrying out investigations into the complaint of assault that he, Sam George, had earlier lodged at the Legon police station, which complaint had never received any attention until the early part of today. When Sam George arrived in Parliament for parliamentary business, he received a call from one Superintendent Afo to come to the police headquarters and assist in their investigations. Now, we thought that it was important that as the minority, we solidarize with our colleague who was assaulted for no reason whatsoever. He went there as a law-abiding Ghanaian to monitor elections. He was accredited as such by his party, the National Democratic Congress, and without any provocation, those goons descended heavily on him, assaulted him, and others. So we saw their action as an affront to the dignity of Parliament, and so if an invitation was extended to him, the least we could do was to accompany the Honorable Sam George to answer to the calls by the police, and that was exactly what we did. Additionally, we also thought that it was important to once again engage with the Inspector General of Police and impress upon him to understand the issue at hand is a dicey one, and that we will not accept any attempts to cover up. The people who carried out the dastardly act on the 31st of January are people who are known. I mean, the media is awash with pictorial evidence of what they did. Their images are there for all to see. We are a bit surprised that 5 or so days after the incident, not a single soul has so far been arrested. So we wanted to once again engage with the Inspector General of Police and drum home our grievances for redress. Earlier, IGP had visited Parliament together with the Minister for the Interior to assure us that they would investigate the matter thoroughly. But after 5 days, we haven't seen any action taken yet. So as the minority group, we thought that it was important to march to the police headquarters, first of all in solidarity with our colleague, the Honorable Sam George, and secondly to engage with the IGP. Fortunately, both objectives were met this morning.
And do you have faith, now that a formal report has been filed with the police and you're following it, that the police will get to the bottom of this and arrest people?
Well, I can only hope and pray that the right thing is done, because this matter touches on the very survival of this country as a nation. What happened portends trouble for all of us moving forward if we don't take steps to address the issues that unfolded on that occasion.
We've just been joined by your colleague, the Deputy Majority Whip. I just wanted to hold the line for me briefly. Let's speak to Martin Nyindam on the line with us right now. Mr. Nyindam, I'm grateful that you joined us. From the majority side, there are two key issues that had come up today. One is a swearing in, but secondly is a minority position on the assault of one of your own colleagues, Sam George. And I'm just curious on that second bit. If one member of parliament is assaulted, I'm guessing it is an issue for the entire parliament to take on. But it appears it's become a political issue as well. And there's a clear division between how the minority is approaching this and the majority as well. Isn't the majority side interested in pursuing this matter of your colleague who's been arrested, who's been assaulted?
Yeah, my brother, let me say good evening to your listeners. I think we should all be concerned about the security of members of parliament, in as much as we also think about the security of every individual in this country. But if there are issues that we all must look at it from a Ghanaian point of view, and you decide to do politics with us, you lose out. And I think that the minority, they are getting it wrong. Nobody, no MP will glorify what happened to Sam George. And I think that we must all be looking at it from a very, very non-partisan level. But what happened today, if that is the way they want to go, then I think that they are getting it wrong. Because if you look at their walkouts, I don't have any problem with their walkouts. But if you look at the placard, what they wrote on the placard, and they walk out with those placards and showing them to the cameras, I think that it is even more serious. If we journey on that path, we're going to lose out as members of parliament, because it is an indictment, it is an insult, and I think that it is a failure of leadership from their side. And for Sam George issue, we are all concerned. I have listened to Sam George when it happened. He clearly said he doesn't trust the police, and he doesn't even want to make a case.
I just heard you say you are all concerned. What is the majority side doing about this concern you have?
We all condemn it. Anybody who got opportunity, we condemn it and ask them. Today is the first time in this week that we are sitting. We just started sitting. Nobody, even their side, they never raised this issue on the floor of parliament. So why are they saying that we are not doing anything about it? Have they raised the issue on the floor of parliament and we did not help them?
Because on Friday, the minority leader tried raising this on the floor, and the speaker said it wasn't on agenda, so they it can't entertain it.
Well, if the minority leader tried raising the issue on the floor, how did you go about it? Anytime we sit, we always have what we call pre-sitting meetings. But you cannot ambush Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Speaker will never allow you if you want to ambush him. And he fully told them that, look, he is not interested in surprises. When issues come up, let's look at it. See, excessive partisanship doesn't help anybody. And these things about these by-elections, we should all be concerned, because every by-election that we had in this country has never ended well. So as a nation, we should look at it from a very positive angle. How do we deal with such issues? But if you decide to go to the streets and do the excessive partisanship that you are doing, you will definitely not get any better results from it.
They said today that they do not recognize the newly elected member of parliament for Ayawaso West Wuogon by a constituency. What's your majority's position on that?
They have no choice. What is the meaning of they don't recognize that colleague of ours? What is the meaning of it? Which aspect of the constitution or which aspect of our standing orders are they going to use? They can sit in their comfort and say they don't recognize the person, but that's their issue. But on the floor, they can never. Are they saying they are going to waive off all the privileges that she's entitled to? Or when she rises on the floor of parliament to talk, they are going to insult her, just like what they did today? Or what are they going to do?
If you've seen any of the videos that every civil society group here in Ghana, UNDP has condemned, and what as a member of the leadership in the House, what is Parliament going to do about the violence that we saw last week Thursday and the assault of one of your own colleagues?
That is why, my brother, I am telling you that every well-meaning Ghanaian will be concerned about our by-elections.
Yes. So what are you going to do about it? The concern is there. I mean, so what specifically? What is it that
we have to condemn it? If we have to condemn it, call on the state security to move in and see how people who have decided to get themselves involved in committing such crime, the laws must deal with them. That is what we can do as members of parliament. What else can we do?
Will you? I've heard, for example, that this Thursday you might be. The Minister of National Security might have been summoned before Parliament. Is that the case?
I'm not aware of anything like that.
Okay, but in terms of what you can do, you have the power to summon any of these ministers who are responsible. To
Come
question.
again.
I'm asking you, in terms of what you can do, you have the power to summon any of these ministers responsible for national security to answer questions and ask them questions on our behalf. Would that happen?
It's possible, because if a member feels so strongly, or we feel so strongly that we need some answers to certain questions, any individual could find an urgent question. We could call on the Minister for Interior, National Security, come and give us the security situations in this country. And we've done it several.
Yeah, you said you could. Will you?
Yes.
Will you?
Come again?
You said you could. I'm asking whether you will, and in fact, call them.
If need rises, why wouldn't we call them?
The need hasn't arisen yet. The need hasn't arisen yet.
Oh, why? If we talk about when the need arises, does not mean that we are not concerned or we've not seen what has happened. But it's about asking questions. Whether me as an individual I'm going to ask, or somebody else has already filed a question, I wouldn't be able to tell. That's what I mean.
Okay. Martin Yundam, I'm grateful that you joined us. He's the deputy majority whip. Earlier you heard James Agaga. Just for the sake of time, we ran out of time on this, but the minority had indicated already what they plan to do if they do not get something concrete from the police by next Tuesday. They've rolled out a series of things, including protests. Already there's this Thursday, there is a protest, a demonstration by a collection of other political parties other than the MPP that will be hitting the streets to protest. News Night starts right now.